What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Billy Collins.
Matt Doje.
And this is Magician.
And the Jock.
Guys, what's up? On this episode, we have one of our good friends. Man, just a kick-ass kid, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right? What do you say?
I would say.
I mean, you met him just now.
Just met him. Yeah,
So,
he already
but
tried to stab me.
He did. He pulled out a knife out of nowhere. I was like, wow.
He's a great judge of character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
So,
we're joined by Peyton Kelly and his dad, Larry Kelly. Guys, thank you so much for coming in on the episode.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, so Peyton's a special person because he's a smart ass. We all know that, right?
Of course.
he looks like Clark Kent.
He does. He does look like
I told you that when you showed me
yeah.
this picture. I'm like,
That's the first thing you said. It was like, wow, what a good look. He looks like.
if I look like that, I would have 50 children if I looked like that. It wouldn't even be fair.
There'd be kids all over, especially in your touring football days.
Oh, man.
One day.
Who knows?
Peyton's special because he's got cerebral palsy.
Yep.
So, which is
and we were talking off air. Maybe, like I was saying, I think it's a good opportunity because it's something we've all heard.
but we don't really experience this much.
But, I said to somebody, you almost don't want to learn a lot about an illness because that usually either means you're a doctor or you're dealing with it personally or a child or whatever. So maybe, I know it doesn't define you, but it's
part of your life.
It's every second.
It definitely defines. Because without it, I wouldn't be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's very true.
You got gotta accept.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is why.
So he said without it, you wouldn't be who you are.
Right.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
So which is pretty spectacular in my eyes. I mean that's what I admire about you the most is that, and the fact that you have such a great family support and your family, man, they don't sugarcoat much.
No.
Man, I know all your siblings. I know both your parents, and it's straight on. I mean
And I don't think you're supposed to.
yeah.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Because what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point?
If you're gonna sugarcoat,
Mm-hmm.
what's the point of
Expectations.
expectations?
Mm-hmm.
With everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you were talking before we got on air because you said it's a unique situation with Peyton.
Yes, it was a unique situation. He was born normal. He had a little trouble breathing, and they put a respirator on him that was turned up high, and when they turned it on, it blew a hole in one of his lungs.
Mm.
And that in itself was not a very big deal, other than he suffered cerebral palsy, which we didn't know that he had for 6 months, but he was very sick. And we could not find, through x-rays and scans, we couldn't find any brain damage or gray matter or cerebral palsy, which was unique. And there was a time then we just were, extremely worried that it was cerebral palsy, right? The long and short was, it boiled down to, he was born, they called it canicterus. It's very rare. There was only a handful of kids in the country that year that get brain damage from severe jaundice, and which is a lack of oxygen, in the blood. So it was very hard to detect at first, but we knew after several months he had some physical issues.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you remember all this, Peyton?
No, but there was a handful of kids that got it that year after the research was done, and he was the only one that lived from it because His
I'm a survivor.
his bilirubin levels were high. They put him under the lights. They took him off.
Wow.
His bilirubin levels went down with the lights, and then when they took him off, they raised back up. And so it boils down to it's rare cerebral palsy because usually with the physical disability, you are also equally mentally disabled. This is not his case at all. He's extremely intelligent and his brain functions very normally. He just has the physical disabilities.
Right.
And
And
it's
I
so
can see
funny,
that
but when
because
he's sleeping, like he'll go to itch his face and he does it normally, but if he has to think about it, it's a little bit of a struggle.
And gonna brag about
Brag away.
myself
Yeah.
a little bit. My case is still studied at the University of, I'm gonna say, Louisville. Kentucky. I could be wrong.
Wait, so you guys are from
Yes.
Kentucky, so
Yes.
yeah.
We're from Kentucky.
Well, being in the business that I was in, I trained racehorses, we were split our years between Kentucky, New York, and winters in Florida. So I had them basically all over. But yeah, most of the kids were born in Kentucky. But it was just extremely interesting, the whole connectress thing. What we were worried about at first was he's not supposed to be. The x-rays didn't show what we saw physically at him. And obviously at that age, we didn't know cognitively or speaking where he was at. But to have no gray matter in an x-ray, we were worried, and so were doctors, that it was something else. So that's was concerning to us, and we did one scan that finally ended up showing the gray matter in the very outer lobe. It was very hard to detect.
If you look at my brain right now, there's one tiny piece that's damaged.
Wow.
That's
Well, I mean, I can see that because when I talk to you sometimes, I feel like I'm an idiot. You're that smart.
So out of a handful of kids with similar or the same, you were the one that carried through.
Yes, it was so hard to
But-
detect that everybody was missing it. It was such a rare thing. And when it did come out of exactly what was happening with him, I had a sister and my best friend's wife were in nursing in Florida. This was in Kentucky. Every hospital in the country got memos on this. It was so interesting because my sister called me up and said, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened." Literally, immediately. It was just such a rare thing. But you know what? That's what makes him Peyton. That's why he's special.
Yeah, that's-
Some people
know.
are famous right out of the womb.
Yeah.
How do you deal with? How do you deal with your fame and stardom?
I don't have to deal with it. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, and do you get tired of people wanting to rides on your airplane? That's what I mean. Your brother's Logan's 6'7", and he rides around like it's his little one wheeler.
They're the only ones.
Oh, that's it. You are the only one.
Do that. Anybody else? I charge.
Charges. Famous and an entrepreneur.
I like it.
I like that one too. That was a good one.
But what I wanted to say was, so I worked at schools for a couple of years.
At schools?
So you worked at school?
He worked at schools for a couple of years.
But
Oh, nice.
and Brock Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a few children who
Challenged.
unfortunately are facing difficulties. And it's when I would see them, it was really a change of perspective
Yeah.
for me. Because
Were you seeing yourself in a different light beforehand?
yes, it's because before those times, I was just a student at schools going through the, excuse my French, but bullshit of a journey. Go high school,
Yeah.
which that's a whole another subject.
Yeah.
But there was one of these kids who was physically and mentally
Yeah.
challenged. But this is all I could do was just lay there.
Yeah.
For me, that really opened my mind. And
Probably made you feel fortunate, grateful almost.
yes,
Yeah.
very fortunate.
Yeah.
So was that the first time you said, you know what, I'm not gonna be.
People have it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the first authentic time. Because there was times before, but I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But when I saw this particular kid, and it's funny, I have what's supposed to be a service dog, but he's not much of one.
A service dog?
Service dog, yeah.
He's,
He ain't worth nothing.
No, he's actually a very good one, but
but he's not your typical service dog.
Yeah.
But I brought him to that school one day. And that same kid came to class. And my dog went up to that kid. That laid right beside him.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, holy shit, this is
real.
That was powerful.
This is riveting.
Yeah.
It's, so that's when my perspective
Yeah.
started to change
Wow.
about being in the situation that I
That's absolutely a great way to look at things.
That
I mean,
is, yeah. My
I-
wife works in special education. She has some nonverbal kids, and just like you described. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's the guy that said, I was sad that I didn't have shoes until I met someone that didn't have any feet.
yeah.
And it's.
I guess
kinda that
sometimes
same
we
thing.
forget how fortunate we are until we see others less fortunate
Well,
than
it's-
ourselves.
people, especially in today's societies, they don't change perspectives. You have to change perspectives if you want to appreciate anything. And that's just a small
How old are you?
23.
How did? I'm like, who the hell am I talking about? Is this Shakespeare?
I
Like,
am
who is this
49
guy?
years old, and I'm more immature than you.
Is this
Good
Aristotle? I'm like,
Oh boy.
I'm surprised he didn't lay the one he lays on me all the time. He says, Dad, with expectations come disappointment.
oh, there you go.
Like doing it right.
It's you just gotta keep expectations low. It's not the best way to go about things, but it works.
Yeah.
It's fun because when I was in school, they would have to hire somebody to be my hands. And a lot of the times, they were ex-military.
A lot of ex-military.
So, one of the guys was ex-special forces. So, and when you spend 5 days a week with them for 9 months, you tend
Toughen you up.
to adapt.
Yeah.
Their method is one of my favorite courses. It provides adapt and overcome. And if you look at the Marines, that's all they live by. So it's
Are you a big Jocko Willink fan? Have you heard of Jocko? He's an ex-SEAL. But he talks.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's always talking being tactical.
Well, there's times where it's like, okay, that's a little too much. But 85% I be tactical is the best way to go about it. I mean, at least for me,
Yeah.
in my situation.
Yeah. So how was it, Dad, as when you know, I had my son's 3, and you're like, I remember when he was born, you're like 10 toes, 10 feet, you know what I mean? Because you have 2 older children. They were young at the time, around like 6
at that
years
time
old,
we had
something
three,
like that.
three.
3 already.
Yeah.
So, how do you, maybe without getting too specific, but just the emotions, I would assume that you have a split second of, hey, something's different. And then it's immediately getting into, okay, what is it? Okay, how do we, you know, you don't have time to sit and pound.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I was racing horses still at the time, and he was born in October, and I had sent the horses to Florida some of the horses to Florida, usually right around the 1st of October. And then I would finish up racing at Churchill, which was raced through November. So he was in the hospital a month, and he was very sick. I mean, there was chances we you know.
Every other one, like
Yeah, we didn't know if he
Yeah.
was coming home from one day to the next. But so when he got home, I wasn't there as much as I should have been. I had gone back to Florida, and I would come back periodically. And I guess about 4 months later, I came back in the spring to race Keeneland, and I noticed he had a bald spot on his head. And to me, that was just really weird. Now I knew
No offense, Billy.
take it into granted. He was
See my ball spot?
he was sick. You know, he was sick when he started out, so he had some strength to gain. And those first couple months, you don't really think much about anything.
Right.
But I noticed And I had told Jackie that I said, he's not picking his head up like other kids did. And we took him in, and that's when they informed us. I believe it was within 5 months of him being born. We were shocked. We weren't ready for that. And to answer your question, you think of, the first thing you think about is, oh my God, what kind of life is this kid going to have? Not what can we do for him, but what.
You need to start projecting.
Yeah, you project,
10,
right?
15, 20 years.
Exactly. Thank you. That's the right way to put it.
Yeah.
Because yes, you start projecting everything: yourself, your family, him. What's going to happen, and that's a rough thing. That's rough to get through. And it took a lot on everybody to kind of gather it in, but it took a lot for us to gather around it. But it didn't take long to realize that we were really blessed. We had a special guy with us, and after 6 months go by very quick, and when he was a year. And he was starting to sit up in a little bit, and I could get into that as well, but we actually used hippotherapy. We put him on a horse when he was very young to learn that core power.
Sure.
He could sit up, but he had no strength. So now we needed him to sit up on a horse to work that.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that second. But it was what.
He's one. Yeah, he's old enough.
But what was sad about it, and I say this sad, is he wasn't totally, he wasn't what I want to say, he wasn't non-mobile. He was mobile, but it was all on the floor. If he could just sit up.
Yeah.
And you could sit him up in his little W position, but he was very weak. And a friend of mine, who had gone from racing into the hippotherapy part, had said, you need to try him on the horse. And then I got to thinking about it as riding as many years as I did. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly, because it's that second balance.
Yeah.
You're balancing on the horse, but then you're also balancing yourself to keep yourself straight. And that's what built his core up. But it wasn't long before we knew that we had a really cool kid on our hands.
Now, so obviously Logan's the next closest to you in age, right?
Correct.
So he's 4 years older than you?
He's 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, and then Lauren is 6 years?
No.
So Lauren's 9 years.
9 years. Okay,
No,
so
TJ's yeah. So Lauren's 7, TJ's 8.
They were 9 months apart.
Yeah.
So obviously,
14 months.
Obviously, which we don't have your mom here, Jackie, but Jackie's an incredible person who, obviously both of you guys have done an incredible job, but you being on the road, do you know what kind of stress was it on for your mom? Or did she have any stress?
Moms will stress if you're perfectly nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
My mom still stresses.
Well, it's and it's gonna stress, but with my mom particularly, at least from what I've heard, it was stressful. Because it's funny because when the doctor told them what the issue was, if you ask her, she'll say, I wanted to punch in the face.
He gave her the wrong answer, huh?
And I oddly enough, I could hear. I could hear your mom saying that.
So
Yeah.
it's, but I was to really remember it.
So your mom's just basically been your mom and just
Yeah.
you know, and she doesn't put up with any of your shit either, you know.
No. Well,
No, I'll step in. You know, Jackie so you're right. He was the youngest of 4 kids. We had lost one midterm
Oh wow.
before Peyton.
I didn't know that.
So,
yeah.
she did a hell of a job. I mean, I wasn't there like I should have been. I was still on the road.
Well, you had a
trying to
career. You would support the family. Yeah,
We were battling financially over a very large hospital bill that
Yeah, I can imagine.
that was just my percentage of the insurance, but it was a phenomenal amount of money. And
yeah, I
we
can
weren't
imagine.
we weren't going to pay him, or we didn't want to pay him because they had done a lot of damage. I mean, starting with, you know, even the air compressor turned up high and blowing the lung out. But listen, she hung in there, but she never missed a beat, and there was nothing that this kid got everything everybody else did. Ass whippings to congratulations to birthday parties to whatever, you know, but she did a phenomenal job, you know, phenomenal job.
to chip in, every one of those birthday parties, every one of those, whatever it was, there was always a point. That's it. What's the point?
The part of you that said, "What's the point?"
What's the point?
Wow.
What's the point? It's obviously no. But now, I look back and I'm thankful for each of those birthday parties, each of those. Whatever they were.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I feel like your family is, and I don't, you know, I know Lauren really well, and I know you, and I know Logan a little bit. I'm not real. I don't know TJ because you said he's in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah, he's been kind of out of the Moorhead picture.
But you guys seem like you're pretty tight knit. I mean, the pajama party, even though you and Jackie aren't together, but you guys all come together in events. Is that am I correct in that statement?
well, yeah, because you asked, you're a family.
Yeah.
In my faith, which is different, family is everything. And it's if you can't realize that, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
very
know.
true.
We were very blessed with the kids. You know, for the first couple of years, they were a little bit little, but they always helped. And then also a lot of friends. You know, Jackie had some good support, whether it was in Kentucky or Florida. And, you know, we're talking about those parties and things. And we threw his ass down the bounce slide just like everybody else. He didn't come up. If it was a chance that I didn't think he was going to break something,
Dad, what's the point?
he went down. So he'll tell you the truth. Or a sled in the snow. If it would look like there was no trees he was going to hit, he was going to ride until he stopped. Somebody'd go get him.
Even though I telephone.
A telephone pole.
I don't remember that.
All right, Peyton, let's switch gears just a little bit, okay? Because I know you have some amazing stories to tell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I come from a big family. Matt comes from
I'm
a
one of
family of
5,
five.
yeah.
I'm one of 5. You're one of 4.
So you're from a small family.
Yeah.
Feels
Feels big.
massive.
Yeah.
Well, when your brother's as tall as he is.
Yeah, that
you know,
counts as two.
TJ's not a little kid himself. So.
No, TJ isn't.
So, you know, I know you work out. You work out with my trainer, Grant. Do you have any stories? I know you went horseback riding. Your dad and I talked earlier while you were training that you four-wheelers, gators, hunting. Is there anything that you didn't get to do?
The only thing I didn't really get to do was jump out of it.
You haven't jumped out of an airplane?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Who the hell would sign up to do that?
I mean,
Who would jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Would you want to do that then?
Maybe. Give me a few moments.
Yeah, sure. A couple more of those.
Well, you've done the other
I've done the indoor skydiving,
indoor skydiving.
which was interesting because my legs were kind of crazy. But
Do you look like those balloons outside the car
Were they
dealership? That's
dangling
just-
like making noise?
yeah, no. But I've hunted, fished, I shoot guns.
Mm-hmm.
I,
So you're a normal Carter County kid.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question though. When you're shooting a gun, does everybody go, "Oh shit, Peyton's shooting duck"?
Ties a rope around that trigger and lines
goes
it up
away.
and pulls it.
Well, that was just for this one time I was shooting with two buddies of mine, and they set up an AR-15,
An AR-15.
and they
They're having marches against
So
people
let's
like Peyton.
recap.
Peyton is public enemy number one.
Let's recap a little bit,
This is
okay?
the face of American extremism right here.
So already we've learned that he has a knife and he pulled it on you.
Yeah, you did.
He shoots AR-15s. I'm pretty sure there's a rocket launcher in this wheelchair.
He hates. He drinks his bourbon, no ice,
No
or
ice.
Coke.
America.
America.
Oh my gosh.
No, but so we go shoot. They set up targets. They put the rifle on this table with the rifle
Tripod?
system attached. And I played a lot of video games.
Yeah.
So-
Call of Duty.
Yeah. So you'd be surprised of how that knowledge can transfer over into real shooting. So I nail every target.
Of course you would.
So he really is who they're protesting. AR-15s and video games. Like, we found them.
There's a few,
We have found public enemy number
there's
one.
a few big deer out there that protest them too.
Ah, there
So,
you go.
but it's funny because I guess nail targets. I know there's about 8 rounds left.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I wouldn't do it justice if I didn't empty this.
That's right. You don't do it justice.
So, I
You know, blow the smoke away.
That's right.
So-
That's right.
So I bumped out the AR-15 with my feet. Now, that's unheard of.
That's unheard of.
after I had the magazine, the guns, smoke, I look back at my two friends, and they're just like, what the fuck just happened?
We've created a monster. That is.
So yes, I get around
That's
in
amazing.
my activities.
Yeah.
What's your favorite activity to do?
Push.
Shooting?
It's a good stress reliever because it's loud, it's powerful, it's
Evens the playing field.
yeah. Yeah. But I also fish. I've got this rare sunfish. There was an article about it.
An article about it?
Yeah. I'll try to find it.
Deep lining.
Get it to you guys, but
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, we do a little research on all of our guests that come in. Matt usually talks to a lot of them beforehand, or I know
Except he
them.
ignored our calls.
Yeah, and so we did Facebook stalk you a little bit, and I want to know who was your favorite Viking.
Are you a big fan of that show?
it's a little more than the show. I've studied the whole subject
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
for the past 4 years or so. But, that's a tricky question.
Ivar? Do you like Ivar? The boneless?
Are we talking for the show?
I'm talking in general.
Oh.
Then we can talk about the show. Because
He was more brutal in real life.
Well, it's tricky, but I'll say
Ivar.
because there's a sense of I can relate to.
Can relate, yeah.
Yeah, a little familiarity to him.
People say I'm Ragnar, so I don't know. Main character.
Well,
Peyton's got about, he has quite, actually some college credits, but as well as a lot of research into the Norse Viking history.
Yeah.
I would consider him somewhat of a source or of knowledge, if not an expert on it. He still does it to this day. His library of books and his videos, but I think it trends over into the real Vikings, which we all perceive as different. But he's very knowledgeable about that. He loves that. He loves that subject.
it's a sense of familiarity with it. Because it's they travel. They've traded, they've raided, it's and I travel. There's something to be learned. And that's why they travel to the places they did. Because if you look, they traveled to Iceland. They traveled with America. It's officially proven
Yep.
that they were here back 1,000 years before Columbus was.
Yeah, they were master seafaring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Had to. The Anglo-Saxons didn't like him.
Well, for a few reasons. one of them, which is pretty funny, they were so well kept. They bathed
They were very, yeah, I read about that.
regularly.
Very, like,
They
hygiene.
will. All the women
Yeah.
would go to the Vikings and the Saxons would down eat.
A Saxon, a bunch of Billies over there, like, come on, what's going
Nah.
on?
They had it
more the
going
Vikings.
on. The Anglo-Saxons didn't.
I was a
I'd always like
Saxon.
to be a Viking like that. Not the all the women.
What was the second one? You said the first one. What was the second one?
Now we're talking real.
Like real actual Vikings.
Probably
Well,
came hit off Bluetooth because he was the one that took the credit for unifying
All the clans.
all of Scandinavia.
well, it was the two religions.
Yeah, and battle of paganism versus Christianity.
Catholicism, yeah, Christianity, yeah.
So it's
Odin and I love that scene in Vikings when Ragnar was talking with the priest. I can't remember his name now. Athelstan.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I hope our gods can be friends one day.
Yeah,
I thought
that
that was pretty good.
that was his death scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was very awesome,
Yeah.
but it's an amazing subject
Yeah.
when you really dive deep into it.
Yeah. What do you want to be when people say talk about you? What do you want them to say?
Hopefully, it's terrible, but
Nothing terrible.
Nothing terrible.
just that he's a fun
He's a friend.
person
A fun person.
to be around. I'm really looking for any major.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Right.
I don't need to be flattered,
Yeah.
if that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. This guy is like mature beyond his years.
Nose.
I'm over here like I could stand to be flattered.
Yeah,
Someone
I want to be. I
please
want
fl-
somebody to say something about
You'll
me.
be old like us, and you'll be like, someone please flatter us. That's man, that's
You wait till you get
awesome.
my age, you're back. Good Lord.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So what?
He
What would?
affects people everywhere he goes. You know, one of the most amazing things to me is texting with his feet. I mean, how fast he does it.
Yes, for
And
anybody.
people just look at him and like watch him. And actually, you know, a lot of times, like at Disney on the buses or places, and he'll be on the bus and he'll be texting with his feet, and kids just look there and like in awe.
Disbelief, yeah.
You know?
It's like a superpower.
Yeah, faster than I can type, faster than I can text with two hands.
Yeah.
So speaking of Matt said superpower. We usually talk about each individual has their own superpower. What would be your superpower that will move people and to make a dent in the universe?
Honestly, it's very simple. It's that open mind.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, that just went a little deeper for me right there.
It's drop the mic moment.
Drop the mic moment. Oh.
But it's,
And humility, I would say.
Yeah.
it's just ability to sit back and say, okay, this is what is happening.
Yeah.
This is what should be happening. What's the best way to make
Yeah.
the votes meet? Now, I know that's not really like a superpower, but
No, it is.
Yeah, that's a huge super. I
It
mean,
is.
like I said, each individual has. I mean, we talk about it.
Yeah, I would add
often.
on to that too, how it manifests, because we're all naturally good at stuff. Like you lean towards being open-minded. You know, maybe always been wired that way. But I would add on empathy would be a superpower you have too, because you do have some serious empathy, and that's different from sympathy. Sympathy is, oh, bless your heart. Empathy is you can see where people are, and you can. Yeah, you understand, but you can also help them. You know, you don't leave them laying on the ground like that one kid.
it's like you said. There's always a difference between sympathy and empathy. Unfortunately, people don't realize.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I was heard sympathy is bless your heart, you need some help, and empathy is bless your heart, I'm here to help. And yeah, man, you're gonna inspire millions, dude.
Yeah. So what's next for Peyton Kelly?
I have no clue.
No clue.
You don't have it figured out at 23?
No.
Gosh.
Do you have anything that you aspire to do that you want to do?
Besides skydiving.
Well, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm seriously considering a political career.
A political career.
Just take that food for whatever you
Yeah.
want.
That is very open-minded.
There's an lack of people with the understanding that I truly believe that I have.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this country and the rest of the world needs right now at this stage of time.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You just made me cry, man. Strong. Touch me, dude.
Yeah.
You're an incredible human being.
And he's humble.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing too.
Yeah.
It's right up there with being open-minded. Humility is a great virtue. He has it. It's very hard for all of us to be humble. But
When you're perfect in every way.
well, and you know,
Was it that country song?
for him to be humble is even more difficult. It's hard enough to be humble when you can, scratch your face or scratch your head and do things. But
My issue is I don't care about what other people think.
yeah,
I don't know if that's really an issue.
that boat sailed a long
Right.
time for you,
Yeah.
right? You don't care what other people
or
think.
Just, I don't. It is what it is. You can take it or leave it. Do what you want. No, that's
Put that on a
so
t-shirt. Put that on
Take
a
it or
shirt.
leave it.
it's not my job to give you an image of
Yeah.
So Peyton, we're coming to the end of the episode. Okay. And one, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Peyton, for coming on
Thank
the
you.
episode. But leave the audience with a bit of advice.
Bit of more advice.
A little bit more advice. I mean, you could. There's been tons that you've done, but
You got travel. You got a lot of things that you like to do.
so what could you tell people if someone said, "Well, I am asking, how do you make this world a better place?" What would be your advice?
I had a feeling you were gonna ask this
It's
question.
because I'm an asshole, all right?
No. Well,
Well, you are, but that's
Well,
not why you have
that's
that
fine.
feeling.
predict.
You're bad.
There's less than meets the eye.
Yeah, there's so much I could say, but the one thing is it's like, nowadays, it's, don't wait for Christmas. Wait for the birthdays of Allah. If you're thinking about reach out. Because for you don't know what that could do to the person. And for two, you don't know what road that leads to. So, reach out. If you're thinking about someone, reach out.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, kind of
Yes.
power. I always say life is a series of right nows. You know, it's kind of the most. The past is a bunch of past right nows, and then the future is just going to be future right nows.
It's, you said people caught you. One is great quotes from the show is don't look backwards. You're not going that way.
You're not going that way. Ragnar said that, right?
Yes. So it's
Don't look backwards, you're not going that way.
That's
That is
powerful.
awesome.
I always
That's
say
good
that-
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
'cause the windshield's a lot bigger than the rear view mirror. So
exactly.
that's the redneck version of it.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Exactly.
Just
Man,
Well, Peyton, thank you so much for coming on.
thank you.
I
having me.
think I'm actually a better human now. So if that's possible, because I'm already
yeah,
on
that's
that
right.
perfect set
He's
specimen.
perfection.
So
Well, perfection doesn't exist either.
Well, this is the first time we met. So.
We can say that for another time.
That's awesome.
yeah, definitely, we're gonna have to have him back
Dude,
on.
man,
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
that'd be fantastic. So, Larry, do you have any closing words that you would like to?
No, just thanks so much. You know, he just, like you say, he touched you guys, but he touches me every day and everybody around him. It's the little things we don't think about. The scratch on your back or, you know, or little things that we take for granted. I think we touch our face a couple hundred times a day, you know, for itches or whatever. And, you know, it's tough for him. Put a watch on and things, but I see him when he was working. I'd see him put his scrubs on, you know, with his feet. And if you think about those things, he's an amazing young man. But you spend any time with him, you'll you know, you won't have a bad day if you just put yourself in his shoes. You know, we're always one phone call away from having, you know, from a day being worse for any of us.
Sure.
And
Right.
it's just such a positive aura to be around him, and that's a beautiful thing.
100%. Matt, you got anything that you want to?
No, I think we're
Good.
good.
Good. Guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Glad
you
you had
guys.
us.
I know it was short notice, but, you know, thought it was great to have you on.
It is what it is.
He had just
Yeah,
checked
we
with his press secretary, but
Yep.
it was fine.
Yeah, sure.
We'll have to clear it with channels. Guys, do us a big favor. Go ahead and hit that notification bell.
Smash the like button.
Boom.
Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.